It's Friday. What's going on, Shooting Star Press? And what's going on, Two Dudes Wolfpack? It's Friday, which means we are talking all things AEW.
Yes, sir.
How you doing since yesterday? It's been a long time since we've been on.
Yeah, it's been about 24 hours, but a little over 24 hours. But no, things are. Today is it's a big day for us. It's our 50th episode.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, and it's the 25th week we've been, or 26th week, because we took WrestleMania week off of doing this. So yeah, I think we've got a habit now, because they say it takes 3 weeks to form a habit. So here we are.
Yeah, yes we are. Yeah, get it. 50, man. Good for us, man. 50 episodes. That's a lot, man. We're doing our thing and trucking along and constantly improving and getting more and more viewerships, and people love us. I don't see any hate ever about us, and we even are seeing people stealing from us. So we won't name any, names, but we're doing all right. We're doing all right. And we know AEW and WWE watch our product because they're constantly,
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly, taking our ideas, so they know what's good. But today we are going to talk about AEW, and like we said last week, we are skipping Rampage. Rampage was a non-AEW event. It was too focused on every other organization in the world, maybe getting ready for their Forbidden Door. You saw that Forbidden Door.
Of course.
So we're going to go straight into Dynamite, and then to make up for Rampage, we're going to talk about Collision and what we expect from next Saturday's event, their first ever show, and then we're going to do our segment. So let's jump into Dynamite, man. Dynamite had some interesting things go on again. It wasn't a bad episode. It was another good episode. A lot of stories being pushed, things with the BCC and so on. But I want to open up with, I think, what everyone was talking about, and that is the MJF and Adam Cole Bebe promo. MJF came out dressed up. He once again started off with his "I was obligated to be here" promo. So I get it, MJF. You don't ever want to be on Dynamite, although you skipped last week. He didn't really mention much about the 4 pillars, which I thought was weird, other than saying he was the best at 4 ways. But he didn't really talk about anything other than that. And as he's going on with his promo, which was very short, Adam Cole's music hit, and he got a huge pop, and I got super excited. We wanted this. We've talked about this, that the next person should be Adam Cole. It's going to be a good build because they're not going to wrestle at Forbidden Door. So when's the next one after that? It's not for a minute, right? It's
probably, I think it's All In Wembley. I think that, and then it's All Out after that.
Isn't it? Oh, so it's not for a while. So we got a good build.
Unless they do it on like a themed Dynamite, like Quake at the Lake or something that they've done.
At the Lake. I hope they don't, because I don't see MJF beating Adam Cole, because if Adam Cole loses again, what's the point? So I'm assuming they want MJF to hold this belt for at least another few, because if he has it till August, that's almost a year,
full
right?
year.
Yeah, so that's a good title reign. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I can see MJF keeping the belt, but anyway, let's go into the promo. So Adam Cole comes out and MJF cuts off the Adam Cole Bebe part. I mean, Adam Cole's all bent down, ready to go, and MJF's like, cut the music. And obviously Stooge in the back agrees to it. And MJF,
I know. Just once, I'd like to see them not do that.
Listen to
make like what? Just because MJF's asked you to turn the music off, why do you have to do it?
I don't know. And the guy was like, "Oh, okay, shoot, button off."
Yes, sir.
Like, yes, sir, Mr. MJF. But yeah, so they cut the music, and people. So I watched this not live. I watched it a little bit after, and the only thing I saw was that this promo was going to happen, and people and that's how I heard, because people blew up. People were talking about this was the greatest promo ever. This is why these two need to go, and so I got excited. I want to see what the fuss was all about, and MJF. We've talked about this multiple times before we got on here, is that MJF is really, really good at promos. He's the best in the biz, in my opinion, currently at cutting a promo. Better than Christian Cage, better than anybody else you want to, Roman, and anybody else you want to try to bring up, and Adam Cole, who's phenomenal at promos. But he is literally cutting the same promo week after week after week. And I know people are going to be like, well, you like Dominic Mysterio, and he's cutting the same promos. Okay, possibly, but MJF comes out and basically trashes the Colorado calls them drug addicts because they legalized marijuana. I don't know how.
Yeah, it's legalized in like 37 states too. But
And
yeah.
marijuana is literally, you can't be addicted to marijuana. It's like a scientific proven fact. So how are you a drug addict being? I don't know. Anyway, he calls them drug addicts, and then they say something, and then he talks about how their moms swallow in Colorado, and I'm like, oh wait, here we go again, MJF. And then Adam Cole comes out, and he basically just runs through about how much he loves Adam Cole. People start chanting Mark, and he's like, I am a mark for Adam Cole. I looked up to him. I wanted to be him, just like I was with, who do you say, Jericho, was it? Or CM Punk. He talked about how it's the same thing with CM Punk. He loved Adam Cole, and he followed him through NXT, and then he dropped a few undisputed error lines, and blah, blah, blah. And then Adam Cole cut a promo, which I thought was Adam Cole's best promo in AEW. I mean, you'll talk about things you didn't like or liked, but he cut a pretty smooth, sick promo, made fun of MJF, talked about him being a big douche and other thing. He even like blew him a kiss, like after he did a couple lines, and good stuff, right? They had some good things. And then MJF comes back, and I'm like, all right, whatever you do, MJF, do not talk about WWE, because all you ever do is talk about WWE. You've already talked about WWE. And then he just continued. He name dropped Vince McMahon, talked about him being Keith Lee's manager, how he wasn't big enough to headline and NXT and this. And I mean, he was just like going all day about WWE. And that was pretty much, it was a good segment. I did enjoy it. But I just wish MJF would cut the act on WWE. We need to stop talking about WWE. We really, really, really do. And it's funny that they're continued to allow to talk about WWE, because they did that press conference at the last pay-per-view after the Four Pillars match, and MJF was talking about going to WWE, and Tony Khan looked pretty upset about the comments. And Tony Khan is not a good actor. If you don't believe me, look at any time he speaks backstage. So that looked like real emotion of, hey, stop talking about WWE. So I was kind of confused about it, but this promo definitely got me fired up for them. I'm begging that Adam Cole does not have to go through a ton of challenges to get to MJ. I just hope we just do a normal, let's like build this up nicely, build it up right. And you can go into the pros and cons of the promo, but I did think this was the right promo for what it needed to be. And I think AEW fans do like it. I think they do like the WWE talk, even though I don't. So just because I wasn't a fan of it doesn't mean that it isn't going over on the internet.
Yeah, I don't mind the WWE references to a degree. Like if it's part of the character's past, the character's story, like CM Punk. When MJF was feuding with CM Punk, I didn't mind MJF, because a big part of who CM Punk is he's the guy who walked out of the WWE for 7 years, and he's the guy who got fired on his wedding day and got sued by the WWE and all that. So that's part of who he is. And it's not like they changed his name in AEW. I mean, that's part of who he is. So I'm okay with it then. When the Acclaim does it, I'm okay, because I think they're just being silly and, goofy and funny when they do it. But MJF just does it a little too much. And that was my only gripe about this promo. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. It felt like they were trying to redo the Punk MJF Mike battle they had a few what feels like forever ago now, but I think it was like November of 21 or something. It feels like they were trying to rehash that with, you're a less famous Miz, and you're this and you're that, and you weren't good enough, and Vince McMahon and Triple H, and where that's how this promo felt to me. There was one part too that I did not like, and we talked about this offline, but it was just the two of them acted like a bunch of little middle school kids, where MJF is talking about Adam Cole's body, and then Adam Cole says, oh, well, how about we go to the back and we pee in a cup and see who's natural and who's not, or who's juicing and who's not. And he was like, oh, and you don't want to do that, do you? Alluding to the fact that MJF may be using steroids. And I mean, if that's the case, then okay, like whatever. But I just don't like them alluding to that. I don't like them talking about that. I mean, I guess I don't know. I didn't think it was a necessary line from Adam Cole. And then all the stuff about Keith Lee's manager. How do you like we talked about offline, AEW really is dedicated for the hardcore wrestling fan, the people that keep up with the news and the people that keep up with the Meltzer stuff and the dirt sheets and everything. If you're a casual fan, you would have had no idea what he was referencing when he mentioned Keith Lee's manager. I'm sure there was probably a few people in the audience like, what's wrong with Keith Lee? Like, I don't understand the Keith Lee. Keith Lee's in AEW. So like, he's not managing Keith Lee. Like, what's he talking about? So that was the only thing. Like, I like when they do this stuff, but sometimes it's just a little too much. And then the one thing that Zach brought up here on the screen, that MJF going for the low hanging fruit, talking about they ring the freaking bell. That was a rehash of Adam Cole's promo on Karrion Kross back in NXT, where Adam Cole was playing the MJF character and Karrion Kross was playing the Adam Cole character, and Adam Cole verbatim said, "You know what makes me cool? They ring the freaking bell." Yeah. And that's my problem with MJF. Sometimes I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is as a wrestler, because I feel like he takes people, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He stole his "I'm better than you and you know it" from the movie Dodgeball.
Yes, he did.
He goes into media scrums all the time and he says, "I'm the best in the ring, on the microphone, in the ring, even on commentary, nobody can touch me." And that's from the infamous pipe bomb promo of CM Punk. He talks about how he's the best in the world. And then he takes Adam Cole's promo from the Thunderdome days, where Adam Cole cut that promo on Karrion Kross. So I just don't know who MJF is, because I feel like as great as he is on the mic and he delivers things so well and he's a natural born heel, I just don't know who he is, because some of his promos don't really feel original. It feels like he's taking other people's things and making it his own, putting his name on the paper.
Yeah, and I could agree with that. The thing is, he's just so damn good at cutting promos. That's the thing. He can deliver so well, but yes, he is not as creative as he should be. I mean, they have said many of times with movies and with wrestling is that everything has been done, so what can you do new, right? You have to rehash every movie's ever been made. So how you
but verbatim? I mean, that's
verbatim. That's
the one thing.
I didn't mind him doing the Adam Cole verbatim. I actually thought it was kind of cool, and I watched it back to back. Somebody cut it where they
I saw that on TikTok,
and it was I thought it was kind of cool, because it's at least Adam Cole, but taking lines when you're not talking to the person is a whole different thing. I also didn't like the weight thing. I mean, I thought it's 2023, and I'm not trying to be, all whatever, and people are going to say, "Oh, you guys are soft," but like, let's move on from body shaming. Like we're past that. And that Adam Cole thing was a body shaming thing that helped with his depression, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, why are you, I don't know. I'm sure Adam Cole approved it, but I just think it gives people on the internet an okay to do that kind of stuff, because they're going to be like, "See, MJF brought it up, so now let's go back to Adam Cole." And once again, Adam Cole's probably got a better body than me, and I'm considered to be in pretty good shape. So he's in wrestling out of shape. Just because he's wearing tights and his belly is going just a little bit, he doesn't have a rip stick, that he's not out of shape. The dude is like what 90% of Americans would love to look like, and now he's getting body shamed on. It's just like Sami Zayn always wears a shirt, and then when he takes it off, it's like, oh, that's why he has a shirt on. Like, and he's in great physique. He's just not Randy Orton. But anyway, and I didn't like that, the MJF steroid line too, because I do think people will start Googling and looking into it. And I mean,
turning it into something that was just a line in a promo. And I mean,
and they juice. I mean, I was talking to you about that with Jey Uso. I said, I know Jey Uso is going to win the title or fight for the title soon, because he got in a different kind of shape. And I do agree with what MJF said. You're not in world, like when you're the world champion, you don't see champions get, like the Miz got big. Like people get, when they're about to become champion, that's what the promoters want. You need to look like a world champion. So you're going to get into better shape. So I get that. I get that part of it, but I just don't like, I don't know, bringing it up.
Don't bring it up. And then, because what I don't want it to do is turn into, should Tony Khan start testing his wrestlers, and should they implement who has a drug test? WWE, and WWE has a really strict drug test. Why doesn't AEW? And that just shows how superior WWE is to I don't want to get into all that, and I feel like that's opening the door for that to happen, the forbidden door.
I agree.
But I mean, I thought it was a solid promo. I thought it was a good. I'm glad Adam Cole's the next opponent. The one thing, though, it did feel like it ended abruptly. That was the one thing, because Adam Cole was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I guess we've got our match," and that was it. He didn't say when the match was. He didn't say when it's going to be. He said, "Is it tonight?" Like, nobody. Is it at Forbidden Door? Is it at
parking
All
lot?
In? Is it all out? Is it at All Out? it was just, I guess we got our match, and then Adam Cole's music hits and the segment ends. And so,
Yeah.
you could tell like MJF like picked the mic up. I think he wanted to say something else, and then they like went to commercial or something. I guess they ended it. Yeah, it was all about that boom, and they ended it abruptly. But it was a cool segment. I'm glad Adam Cole's the guy. Now I hope there's part of me that wants MJF's championship reign to continue. But at the same time, I think it's time that they put the belt on Adam Cole. He can't lose it. So.
No, you can't have Adam Cole lose at the end. So he already lost it 3 times to Daniel Bryan. So you can't have Bryan Danielson. You can't have him lose. Yeah, it's not gonna. But anyway, all right.
So for me, I want to talk about the one thing MJF didn't bring up in his promo, and that's the 4 pillars. He did mention that he's the best in 4-way matches, and that he had the best dog collar match. And they name drop ever since Tony Khan announced CM Punk's coming back to Collision. CM Punk's name and image and has been all over AEW.
All over.
Before they wouldn't even mention him, and now MJF even name dropped him on Dynamite. But I want to talk about the other 2 pillars, or the other 3 pillars, I guess. Sammy Guevara, Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy. It just feels like the mighty have fallen since Double or Nothing, because we haven't seen Sammy Guevara since Double or Nothing, and I'm sure he's celebrating his fiance wife, I guess, Ty Mello, is having a baby, and they announced it at Double or Nothing on the cue cards. So I guess maybe that's where he is. He's enjoying that. But Jungle Boy's back teaming with Hook, and Darby Allin's back with Sting, and they're randomly pairing with Orange Cassidy now. So I just kind of feel like this is we're back to square one with the 3 pillars. We don't know. Like, I really thought the 4-way match would lead then to a one-on-one match between Darby Allin and MJF, and then a one-on-one match with MJF and Jungle Boy, and then a one-on-one match with MJF and Sammy Guevara, and then it would lead to Adam Cole. But it feels like, we're moving on from the 4 pillars in the title contention. We're moving on, and it just feels like they have nothing to do. They have nothing for the other 3 guys, and so here, let's put them back with their tag team partners and put them in random tag teams, and not even have them compete for the tag team titles. You had these guys competing for world championships at your last pay-per-view, and now none of them are even going for a title. If I were Darby Allin, I would try to go after the international championship. If I were Jungle Boy and Hook, like, if I have to team with anybody, I'd want to team with Hook, because Hook is a badass, I think. And then let's go after the tag team titles. Let's go after FTR. Let's throw the gauntlet down. And then if I'm Sammy Guevara, I want to go after the TNT title. I want Wardlow. I want the title that I made great. But I mean, it just feels like AEW really has nothing for them.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to see.
I agree with you. And like, Darby with Sting again, and now they're starting a crew with Orange Cassidy, who's with the Best Friends, who are now a different name,
and they're with somebody else too.
Yeah, because like we said, if you're gonna have a trios match, you gotta have the Best Friends, and now they're a whole, what are they called? Chronic, or not Chronic? They're called
Chaos.
So now they have a whole new. They're just all right, but that was their name already in New Japan. Oh, okay, cool. They like, just those poor guys. But anyway, they. I agree with you fully. I don't mind Jungle Hook, and now I'm kind of mad I didn't buy the shirt. It's so funny because I wanted to get that shirt when we went to that event, or I went to that event. It was Jungle Hook shirt, and I didn't get it. I was like, no, I got to skip on it because they're going to break up. And then they broke up. Now they're back together. I actually think that Jungle Boy and Hook neither of them need this. Hook is so over, and they're not utilizing him correctly. He's just like an afterthought as well. I didn't like what they're doing with any of them. I really don't like Darby back with Sting. Sting needs to just do a farewell tour and move on, and maybe have Russell Goldberg before he steps off into this whatever he's going. I agree with you. I don't know how you have all these 4 pillars and hype them up as like the next big things, and have them in a title match, and have them. I mean, MJF even made fun of them when Adam Cole came out. He said, "I'm happy you're out, Adam Cole, because now I finally have a worthy challenger."
Yeah,
you just had 3, so now you're just like saying that they're all dog shit, and it was weird. And like you said, Sammy Guevara has been nowhere inside. His girl's pregnant, I get it, but he can't go to wrestle.
Can't cut a promo, or
you can't work. You work once a week. You can't go to work. I went to work on when my wife was pregnant twice. I didn't, I was still there for her and for the birth, and a great dad, and I was still working. So I don't understand that, but to each its own. I don't know what's going on, but maybe we'll get more when Collision comes out. But yeah, I'm very disappointed that none of them, even if they're not going for a secondary title right off the bat, at least have them do something. And yeah,
this just feels like, again, Tony Khan way over his head. I don't know what to do with you, so here, let's go back to what maybe worked the first time around. And it just, and if it leads to anything, then okay, I'll eat my words in a couple of weeks. But I have a feeling it's not going to lead to anything. If it leads to Sting turning on Darby or Darby turning on Sting, then okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or Jungle Boy maybe finally turning heel and snapping and beating up Hook after. Okay, I'm down for that, because that would be a good way to elevate both of them. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that. I'm not expecting that. No. Or a babyface turn from Sammy Guevara as he leaves JAS.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And with the mention of secondary, I want to talk about the opening match. And you know who's in the opening match, because it's in his contract, signed in blood. Orange Cassidy, my man, the guy I said should have been champion. I think he's on 8 months now, believe it or not. Wrestled Swerve Strickland. And I thought this was Swerve. Are you going to fact check me? I thought this was Swerve Strickland's moment. I thought all Swerve Strickland is doing is losing. His crew sucks. His crew sucks so bad he had to get a new crew, and they suck. Was I right?
Yeah, about 8 months.
8 months.
He's on 239 days as champion.
There you go. And I'm all for him.
I just didn't think it'd been that long.
Yeah.
I feel like he just won the thing.
I agree. But it's so hard because I want Orange Cassidy to keep being champ. I said that he should be champion through the whole year. I like long-term, the long reigns. And I know that we just talked about the workhorse title and how I was mad that it was a World Heavyweight Championship with Seth Rollins. It should be the secondary titles. But I think what's happening now, and I'm still a big Orange Cassidy fan. Don't get this twisted, everybody. But I think he's starting to get that like Cody Rhodes treatment where it's just rinse and repeat, and we're starting to get a little stale here. So all his matches, he gets beat up. His right hand gets hurt because he has to do the Superman punch, so it hurts. His back hurts because of his age, and he gets thrown all around. Swerve Strickland dominated the whole match like everybody else has. And then he tries to do the Superman punch or the back, and he can't do it, so he wins with a roll-up. A surprise roll-up. It's literally this. It reminds me of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan would get beat up during the entire match. Then he would Hulk out. I don't know if the fans remember this because they're young. And he'd be on his knees and be like, no. And then he'd get hit. And then he'd be like, you. And then he would like punch, body slam, leg drop, end of the match. Rinse and repeat, same every time. I feel like Orange Cassidy is getting there where his matches, he gets beat up for the first 90% of it. And then 10%, he gets some offense in, and then he does a roll up because he can't do his finisher. And I'm not saying Orange Cassidy should have lost, but why have him wrestle Swerve Strickland at this moment if Swerve wasn't going to win? Swerve being that champion would have done him wonders, would have done his crew wonders, and would have made up for all of this losing that he's been doing. And Orange Cassidy then could have moved on, and maybe he could have went for a different title, the TNT or another championship, because Orange Cassidy's that guy. I think he's proved how great he is, and he can still open up every single Dynamite nonetheless, especially if they're going to team him up with Darby. So I was very, what's Zach saying? This generation would understand the comparison to John. Okay, yeah. So there you go. Well, it's because I've been comparing John Cena to Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes to John Cena now. But I just said Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy. So yes, there you go. Thank you, Zach. It is more John Cena, where it's just, I don't know, because I hate saying all this because I like the match. The match was good. I think Swerve should have won, even though I'm not the biggest Swerve Strickland fan because he stole the Rams slogan. But whose house? But and I'm a huge Orange Cassidy fan, so it hurts me to say it. I just think keep him off. He doesn't need to be on Dynamite every single week. Let's do Orange Cassidy every other week. He can just cut a promo when he doesn't wrestle. I don't know what's going on, but he's getting stale. Am I off? Are you not feeling this? Like, I don't know what. Maybe if he was dominating matches, it wouldn't be as. Maybe it's. I don't know what it is, but something's feeling off lately.
Yeah, it's formulaic. It's the same thing every week, week in and week out.
And
there's
everything.
Yeah, the first match, the backstage pro interview with Renee, where shrugs his shoulders, and he carries the title in the backpack. He just slams the backpack down. The one little firework in his pyro that goes off. But I will say that I'm with you. I think it is starting to get a little stale. And how many groups is he going to be a part of too? I mean, he's got the best friends, and then he had Bandito, and now he's got Darby Allin and Sting, and it's just like it feels like that whole international championship picture at the moment is filled with people with where Tony Khan is probably, we don't know what to do with you guys, so let's just throw you all together and see what happens. I mean, they had a 21 person battle royal at Double or Nothing because they couldn't have a feud for Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, has he ever had a feud?
No, it feels like it's just a bunch of one-off matches, and I think that's the thing that's hurting him.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I think he needs like a long-term program with somebody to build to a match, not just a randomly thrown together. You're going to defend the international championship against Juice Robinson at All In or Forbidden Door. Make it a program. Make this thing with Swerve be a weekly thing, and lead to a rematch, maybe at Forbidden Door, All In, All Out, whenever you do it, Quake by the Lake or whatever. But just
I love that. I hope they do that.
Yeah, but
it's in Minnesota, right? Is that where Quake by the Lake's going to be? Okay.
Yeah, that's where CM Punk came back last time and went after Moxley.
It was called Quake by the Lake?
Yeah, it was called Quake,
I thought
Quake
you
by the Lake.
Made that up.
No, it was Quake by the Lake.
God, they did
in
so
Minnesota.
Many stupid names that I forgot them all. That's funny.
Yeah, the Thunder from Down Under, and the Quake by the Lake.
No, that's my second job.
Yeah.
Thunder Down Under. Yeah,
that's my nickname. But yeah, like it just feels formulaic with Orange Cassidy. He's got to be the opening match. He's got to defend the international title. And this is my problem. I think Tony Khan sometimes, I think he reads the dirt sheets. I think he's because we say all the time he's a fan, and I think he listens to the critics. And there were people before who said that Pac never defended the international title. Or at the time, it was the AEW All Atlantic Championship. What's the point of Pac having it? He never even defends it. He's in the trios tournament with House of Black, or the best of 7 with the Elite and the Young Bucks, and so he's never defending the title. So now Tony Khan, he's like, I'll show you, and he books a workhorse title every single week for Orange Cassidy to hold it. So I still think he's the right guy to hold the title, but I think they need to do something. They need to give him a feud, a story, a program, something to get us to tune in each week. And and the whole getting beat up the whole time, and then winning at the very last minute. I mean, is he a babyface? Is he a heel? Like, what is he? Because grabbing the person's tights and rolling them over and holding the tights down, that's a heel tactic. But the commentators are all like, he's reached that point of desperation where he has to do anything he can to survive and to win. If MJF did that, they'd be all over him saying he's a coward and a cheater. And so I don't really think they know what Orange Cassidy is and what his character is, and if he's a babyface or a heel. But I think they need to figure it out, because he is getting a little stale.
Yeah, and if you're taking the belt off Jade Cargill like randomly, then maybe it's time for Orange Cassidy too, and let's move forward. But I'm afraid he's not going to have anything anymore, because he is a star and he needs to continue to be pushed. He just needs I think it's everything like you said, wrestling too much, first match, losing the whole time, then winning. It's just all
and then just the randomness too. I'm best friends with the best friends this week, and now I'm best friends with Bandito, and now I'm best friends with Darby Allin and Sting, and now I'm best friends with this guy. And it's just how many people are you going to be friends with?
You can only have so many friends, bro.
Yeah,
come on. All right, what are we talking about last?
So for me, I want to get into the main event of Dynamite, Jay White versus Ricky Starks. I actually liked this match. I thought this was a good way to end Dynamite. I liked the match. It was entertaining. But I am a little concerned that the Ricky Starks' momentum is starting to go down a little bit, because I mean he was white hot coming into 2023, and he was feuding with MJF at the beginning of the year, and he had that promo and that match after he won the Eliminator Battle or the Eliminator Tournament or something. He had a match with MJF on Dynamite one night. It was like Winter is Coming, I think it was. And it was fantastic, and it was great. And he lost that match, but the momentum for Ricky Starks was super high. And since then, I feel like he has taken a nosedive. And, he had that long drawn out feud with Chris Jericho that, I think he won one, Jericho won one, and Jack Swagger won one. I mean, all Sammy Guevara won one. There's all these people, and I think Starks ultimately ended up winning. And then he didn't win at Double or Nothing. He wasn't even he was in the Battle Royal for the International Championship and didn't win it. And now he's main eventing with Juice Robinson and Jay White, and he came up short. And so I am starting to wonder if the momentum for Ricky Starks, who was once white hot and one of the biggest stars in AEW, I'm wondering if that star is starting to fizzle a little bit.
Well, leave it to AEW to ruin somebody's momentum. Wardlow. So it's just, it's what they do. The match was phenomenal. You got Ricky Starks and Jay White. It's printing money, right? For AEW hardcore fans and any wrestling fan in general, it should be. They went. It was great. I get what you're saying about Ricky Starks. Like, I'm okay with him taking the L per se, because Jay White's about to headline and main event.
Yeah, and I get that.
Him. But once again, it's kind of like the Swerve Strickland Orange Cassidy thing, right? Like, I get why Orange Cassidy won. It makes sense. But why does it have to be Swerve Strickland? So why not save Ricky Starks and Jay White for a little bit longer so you can have Ricky get the win maybe after? Because, Jay White ain't beating CM Punk and FTR at Collision.
No.
So why not have them wrestle? I don't know. You could have got Jay White hot beating somebody else in the main event or just on the match card. So, and it's funny with Jay White too, because you're talking about Ricky Starks being white hot and everything else. Jay White was white hot when he signed. People wanted him to sign to WWE because they thought he would be a main event person.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be the big surprise at the Raw after WrestleMania.
100%. 100%.
So we got Matt Riddle.
Yeah, dude, bro. But now he's kind of fizzled out as well. I know he's in, Bullet Club Gold,
Platinum. He's a platinum member.
Yeah, he is. Pew pew.
He gets airport lounge access, and
dude, I love lucky him. VIP first class. But he has fizzled. The win helped, but it still hasn't made him feel. Him and Juice Robinson lose like it's going. They're like the Judgment Day when it comes to losses. So I don't know. It was a good way to close. I know they're trying to hype it up. I hope Ricky Starks can recover, because you are right. If there's one thing Ricky Starks does well, it's win at the beginning and then lose at the end. He never finishes off a feud right. I think he wrestled Jericho, right? Wasn't that feud that I think the only one he's had where he got the comeuppance at the end, but he doesn't really get a lot of end result victories. So, but good way to close Dynamite. And I just hope they continue to push. I'm surprised they never went back to Hobbs and Starks, because I don't even think they finished their story.
Yeah, I was very surprised at that too, because he just turned on them and then that was the end of it. So that was, and then, and Ricky Starks has said some good things about CM Punk in the media too. So you could have him easily involved in that main event. Maybe make it an 8-man tag instead of a 6-man or something, and continue building that story and continuing the feud of Jay White and Ricky Starks. But who am I? We're just wrestling fans.
Wrestling fans who help write AEW and WWE.
That's right. Yeah,
without being paid, we're interns.
Somebody's listening. Yeah, they're listening. They're listening.
Heck yeah, they are. So that was a good transition, though, because you were talking about Ricky Starks being a CM Punk fan, and let's talk about Collision. We skipped Rampage, so we can talk about Collision and our expectations for it. It's coming out June 17th, 5:00 your time, 8:00 my time. If you guys don't know, that's Eastern.
Other way around.
Sorry, I don't know my time. I'm new to this world. I'm only 42.
5:00 your time, 8:00 my time. Yeah, there
it is. Whoop. Actually, I now officially, ladies and gentlemen, have TNT and TBS East, so I can watch it live. We can do live videos now. Watch alongs.
Let's do it.
Oh, we are gonna do it. You already know that.
Yes, sir.
And we'll also do the watch alongs. But yes, so talking about imagine if you don't know who we are. This is the first time going on this podcast.
Like, what, these guys are
apologize to you and your family. So it's June 17th. It's going to be on Saturdays. That's what we know so far. We know that it's supposed. I'm naming facts. We know that at the beginning it's live because all of the events are on Saturdays that they're recording for the first 4 or so. Correct? Like the Canada, and they're all being watched on a Saturday. So I'm assuming they're being recorded. We'll go into if we think it's going to continue to be that way. The main event is going to be FTR and CM Punk versus ROH himself, Samoa Joe, and
the king of streaming, Samoa Joe,
and the Bullet Club Gold, the king of streaming, and the Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson and Jay White. So that is the main event. Since CM Punk has been announced, I guess ticket sales have gone up a little bit for the first event. When I checked today, basically I think there's like 8,000 seats sold for the first one, and then there's like 1,000.
Yeah, they're not doing very well in Canada.
One of them has like 700 ticket sales. 700. I feel like you and I can get a 700 ticket sale just to watch us do our podcast. Like that seems like
that'd be awesome. We should do that.
No, we should. Let's run out.
Two dudes on tour.
Yeah, let's do it. I think we'll make a lot of money off that. But yeah, so what I want to do is I want to talk about what you think, what your expectations are. So let's talk about, are the rumors true of a brand split? Speaking of Ricky Starks, is it going to be CM Punk and all his people that can deal with him versus others? Is it going to be an actual brand split or a WWE brand split? Is it going to be live? All the other CM Punkers are going to be on it. They're confirmed. So the Miro, Andrade, and Thunder Rosa, are they going to strive? Are you excited to see them? Do you remember who Andrade is? And then, and so it seems like a show for Outcasts, basically. Do you think? And how will ratings do? Dynamite does about, I would say on average, let's give them like 890,000 a week. I would say on average.
Yeah.
They've hit 1 million like 4 or 5 times. They're normally in the 900s, but they do have a lot of 700s. So they're about is this show Collision going to do better, worse? I'll let you start off with everything since I introduced it. So let's talk a little Collision. What are you thinking? What are you live? And you did you get it all? I think you understood everything.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have high expectations for Collision. I think the first couple of episodes are going to be, I think they'll be entertaining. I think they'll be enjoyable. I think they'll be similar to what Rampage was. When Rampage started, Rampage was off the chains. I mean, you had the CM Punk episode. Then you had the one where him and Eddie Kingston were going at it. Rampage was on fire for the first few months. And then to me, it really quickly fizzled out because it became recorded and all that. So yeah, I think I don't have high expectations for Rampage or for Collision just because of the time of day. I mean, it's Saturday night at 8:00, and you're going up against, or now you're going to be maybe going up against the NBA final. I think the NBA might be over by then, but
probably,
hopefully. I mean, it depends on if the series goes 7.
Heat win tonight. I'm saying it right now. Heat win tonight. Let's go to game 6 no matter what.
Yeah. So if it goes to game 7, I think it'll end on Father's Day. I think that's how they planned it. So
that's a Sunday.
Yeah, because they always do game 7 on 7 on
18th,
Sundays.
18th.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be the day after Collision. So I'd be curious to see if there is a game 7, what the ratings would look like for that. But you're competing, against WWE. When they do their premium live events, they go Saturday nights now because they used to do Sundays. Are they going to do better numbers than them?
UFC the Saturdays at once a month. Yeah.
College football, college basketball, pro football. They're going to be doing Saturday games galore this year. They're going to do a Black Friday game and a Saturday. They do Saturday games right after college football season ends. And and then of course, you have baseball coming up too, and I have a feeling there's going to be some games on TNT and TBS that air, and I'm sure Collision may have to move its time slot and move to a different day or to a different night of the week or something. So
that's what I was going to hit you up with. So being on TBS and TNT, Nitro didn't really have that problem that much because Mondays nothing really happened. Thursdays it was, so back in the days when Nitro was on, it didn't really affect them that much, and I don't think it's affected Dynamite that much. It's more Rampage because Fridays, Saturdays, that's when
it hit Dynamite when they were on TNT.
And that's why they moved to TBS, right?
Yeah.
And Collision is on TNT, correct?
Yes, Collision is on TNT.
So do you think it's going to matter? Do you think Tony Khan signed something that said, like, look, you have to book things around us? So if you're doing if there's a sporting event on Saturday and you're going to watch it, you need to work out with the NBA or MLB to say, hey, you got to
put it on
this
True
event
TV
at this time, or just the time. I mean, They can have a West Coast game instead of an East Coast game, or you know what I mean? Like, the
Yeah,
Lakers
let
don't
them be
play
the
at
lead
5 o'clock. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, I hope he did that. I hope that's the case because I think consistency is key. And that's been the problem for me with Rampage is sometimes it's on Saturday, sometimes
Hmm.
it's on Friday night at 5 o'clock, sometimes it's on Friday night at 2 in the morning because of, the college basketball game decides to go to 6 overtime. Sometimes it's on Sundays and sometimes they're doing it before Dynamite. I mean, and
Hmm.
I think consistency is key for Collision. And I think they just need to be consistent with it. So I'm hoping that they did sign something that says, you get the West Coast game when Collision's on. We're not bumping our time slot. I do think CM Punk, he needs to come out and cut a promo when he comes out
At
next
the
week.
event or before?
I think he needs to do it at the event. It's
Okay.
in Chicago. Let him get that pop that he got when he returned, that huge pop that he got on that Dynamite in August of 2021. I mean, that
That
was
was
loud.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this one will be as loud because we've seen CM Punk, and the last time we saw him, it was under questionable circumstances. But
It's still Chicago.
yeah, the Chicago crowd loves him, and yeah, but I think you can't just have him come out and wrestle and pretend like nothing happened. I think he needs to come out and say something, maybe allude to it, show us part of his character. Like, is he going to be a babyface or a heel? Is he going to be is he going to make that part of his gimmick? I'm here to, maybe he joins the Outcast. We talked about Outcast joining the
Hmm.
show. Maybe he joins the Outcast and he wants to destroy AEW from within. And he's going to
That would
start with
work.
the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, or that's why he went into business for himself at the press conference because he hates this place and he wants to destroy it. That's what I want to see. I want to see that CM Punk that we got in 2011, but a more edgier version of that in 2023. And there was a real incident that happened, and they have to. You don't have to talk about it, you don't have to address it, but just allude to it a little bit
Hmm.
and make it part of your gimmick, make it part of your character. And I think if you do that, then I think people will be excited, and I think they'll want to tune in every week. But if you just have him wrestle and not say anything, I think you're doing the fans a huge disservice by doing that.
Let me ask you this, if you understand this question. So is Collision going to be more like Thunder or more like SmackDown? Do you get what I'm going with that? Is it like SmackDown ended up becoming better than Raw, bigger than Raw
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of points? The ratings are now better than Raw, believe it or not. Or is it going to be Thunder in WCW Thursday night, where it just became like a hot thing at the beginning, and then it became where the NWOB wrestled, and you had like you never had Goldberg on it. And do you think Collision is going to become that, or is it going to be SmackDown? Are we going to get Raw, SmackDown? And what I'm going with that as well is, if you think it's going to be Raw, SmackDown, do you think we're getting the brand split?
Oh, I think AEW wants it to be like Raw SmackDown,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we're going to get Nitro Thunder.
Yeah.
I think ultimately it'll start off hot, and then and again, it all depends on the consistency. Are the episodes pre-recorded? Are they going to be live every week? Those are some of the questions that I want to have answered. Is this a live broadcast every
Yep.
Saturday night? Because I think that'll make it more like a SmackDown because you
Yep.
won't know what's going to happen. You can't read the spoilers to see, oh, I don't need to tune into this week. I don't need to watch this week. And I think that's Rampage's problem.
Yep.
And I think they want it to be like Raw SmackDown. So I do think there will be a brand split, but I don't think it's going to be, there's not going to be a draft. There's not going to be
Yeah. Oh, please no.
Tony Khan selects CM Punk. And then with the second pick, Tony Khan selects Juice Robinson. And it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what a questionable pick. I hope Tony Khan rallies in the second round with a better pick. No, but I think they'll do some sort of, like, I think we'll see CM Punk occasionally on Dynamite, especially when they're in Chicago, or maybe on the go home show of a big pay-per-view or something. I think he'll show up there. Maybe he'll do some backstage stuff. AEW loves those pre-taped segments, so they can always just put something like that on a Dynamite and then stay tuned to Collision to learn more.
Yeah.
But I think they'll do a soft brand split where guys like Andrade, guys like Ricky Starks, guys like Miro, Thunder Rosa. I mean, they've already announced them for the show. Powerhouse Hobbs, FTR, Juice Robinson, Jay White, Samoa Joe, which that's the questionable one for me. Is he still on Ring of Honor? Is Ring of Honor still a thing? I don't know. But I don't know what they're doing. But I think they have to do some sort of brand split, because the one thing we talk about every week is how big and deep the AEW roster.
Hey. My life. That's what my autobiography is called.
Yeah, that's big and deep with NWO, the MWO story. But how deep the AEW roster is, and 2 hours a week just isn't enough time to get the Brian Cages on TV, and to get Stokely Hathaway on TV, and to get Action Andretti on TV on a regular basis, and Spears. Get Hook on TV, Spears, people that aren't around. Wardlow was off TV for a while. He wasn't on TV this week because they had so much stuff going on. So I think they need to do something like a brand split for that, just to get more of those guys on TV. But I don't think we're gonna have. I think like the champions, I don't think they need to add any more titles. We're done with titles. We don't need the Dynamite World Champion and the Collision World Champion. I think we just let the champions go from brand to brand and show to show, but everybody else, make them exclusive to one show or the other, and then showcase them. Show us how AEW has the best roster in professional wrestling. Right now, we think they do, but they don't show us. So I think they have to do something just to showcase the talent that they have.
So well said. I'm gonna make this quick. I think they need the brand split. I do. I don't think I agree with you with the champions. I don't think they need. I've always thought WWE should do that. I know they made the Universal and the World Heavyweight and stuff, so you can have champions that get more people an opportunity to become champion. I get that, but I think it's cool that like, hey, you're here, you're there, you're on Collision, you're on Dynamite, but if you become a champion, then you can bounce back and forth. You have that luxury. It's like a VIP, that first class service, right? I think they have to be live the whole time. I think we're in a day and age where you can't do like you used to do, where you just all you have is Eric Bischoff who's gonna spoil it for you. You have the internet now. You have to be live, especially if you want the show. I know Rampage wasn't always live, but Rampage also wasn't important, right? You can't have Collision be once it's being pre-recorded, then you shouldn't have put it on Saturday, and now you're going to get spoilers.
It's got to be live.
Yeah, and I think the brand split is going to happen because of Miro, Andrade, and Thunder Rosa. They were all showed and mentioned and have not been seen since, and they're going to be on Collision. So why would they bounce back and forth? I don't think CM Punk should bounce back and forth. I think it feels more important if you know, hey, I'm a Punk fan, I'm a Thunder Rosa fan, I'm a Miro fan, I'm an Andrade fan. So I want to go watch this so I can see these people wrestle, just like you do on SmackDown. Like, I'm going to watch SmackDown because I want to see Roman freaking Reigns. Like, that's what you do, right? I want to watch Raw because I want to watch Cody Rhodes. I want to watch the best heel in the world, Dom, right? Like, that's why you tune into these things. So I think it should be. I think their ratings will be worse than Dynamite because it's on a Saturday. I don't think their ratings will be any better. I think there's no chance. I think Saturday's awful time slot. I mean, you literally got to be, even if you're a young kid on Saturdays, you're at least going roller skating, ice skating, to a party. I don't know what kids do now. Bed. Yeah, right. Like, you're doing something, right? So you're not like watching on a Saturday night. So there's so many things against it. But I think out of it all, the only thing that I think is weird about this show is that it does seem like it's going to be filled with the people that nobody wants and the people that accept it. So it's like drama and the people that are, because look at Miro. He hasn't been on TV supposedly because of drama. Andrade has proven that nobody likes him. Thunder Rosa has been known as like a piece of garbage in the backstage. And so they haven't been wrestling because of it. And now and I'm not saying this is what I feel. I don't feel this way, but I actually like Miro and Thunder Rosa. Andrade's whatever, but I do truly, truly appreciate them. But that's what they're known for in CM Punk. So, and now you have them all like kind of on the same brand. I do think it's curious and where they're going to go with it. And if they do the brand split, then where are the others going, right? If Jericho comes over to Collision, does that mean he's taking the whole, Chris Jericho Appreciation Society? Is he like, how is that working? So, but I'm excited, and I think Collision can work if done right. I just don't think the ratings will be that great because it's on a Saturday. But
yeah, I don't think ratings. But I think, as time has proven again and again with AEW, I don't think ratings are a factor. As I've been I was worried about AEW there for a little bit when Warner Brothers Discovery was laying off all of its employees, and they shelved Batgirl because of budget cuts and stuff. And wrestling is expensive. I mean, it's a weekly live product that goes on the road, and you got to have pyro, you got to have entrance songs, you got to have tours, you got to pay your wrestlers, you got to I'm sure they're paying them a pretty penny too. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's expensive to air wrestling, and I've been worried about AEW. And so, but I think they've proven time and time again that ratings, I think they're important, and they're bragging rights for one Anthony Rafiq Khan in Jacksonville, but I don't think they really matter in the grand scheme of things, because you have streaming, you have so many different ways to watch it now. So
yeah, definitely. And I mean, 900,000, that's still good ratings. TV shows are barely getting 1 million nowadays. Ratings aren't like what they used to be.
So. And even the shows that have the highest ratings are getting canceled left and right too. So it's not like ratings really matter in the grand scheme of things.
You are correct. You are correct.
But yeah, and I mean, I do think Collision could work with if done right. I think if they do a brand split, don't do the WWE brand split where you have, we drafted Ricky Starks to Collision, but here he is on Dynamite because he has something he wants to say. Don't do that. Just, keep the guys on Ring of Honor, keep them on Ring of Honor, keep the guys that are in on Collision, keep them on Saturday nights, and then the guys that are on Dynamite, keep them on Dynamite. But I do think CM Punk ultimately needs to be a team player. Keep him away from the title picture. He doesn't need to be anywhere near the world title picture. And keep I want to see him against Kenny Omega at All In. I think that should be the match that happens. And Tony Khan needs to grow a set and say, look, VPs, you guys are the leaders of this company. You're going to have to do stuff you don't want to do. This is going to make money. So let's put our egos to the side and let's make this work.
Or we'll send you to WWE with Rhodes.
Yeah, exactly. Where you'll probably get paid more and do less.
Yep, 100%.
Won't be bleeding every week. But
jeez.
And chill out on the blood too, Collision. Speaking of, we don't need so much blood and guts.
Yeah, no, jeez. And there was a lot on Dynamite. All right, man. Let's get into our segment. You ready?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do just like we did on yesterday for WWE. We're gonna do report cards, and I think we can get 2 each. So as always, we start off with the most handsome man on the internet, Shooting Star Press. What's your first report card to grade for me? I wrote 5 down just in case we have the same ones. Last week we had a couple of the same ones.
I wrote 5 down too. All right, so here we go. Let's go with Hook.
Oh, okay.
His AEW run altogether.
Oh man, I'm glad you said that. That's a good one. Mainly because I said how he's being underutilized, which I think so. His start, I would say an A. When he first started, his push, they're saying he's Taz's son. He just came out and dominated. He had a great music, great theme. He had a bag of chips. I loved it. I was all for it. Now, after it's all been going on and where we are today with Jungle Hook, I'm going to grade it a C. I'm going to say a C, not a C plus, just a C. That's what I'm going with. Sorry, Hook. I love you. I think you need to be an A and you need to get pushed better, but I'm going C.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he has so much potential. I mean, the man can go in the ring. Why don't they use the Taz angle more than they do? I mean, they started off telling us that he was Taz's son. Now I feel like they allude to it, but they don't really mention it. They just, Taz, you know this guy really well, don't you? Like they never say Taz, you raised this kid and he's your son. Are you proud of your boy? And, he's got the FTW title. Like what the heck is even the FTW title anyway? But
he doesn't even bring it out. When was the last time he got it out?
Yeah. But I think they could, I'm going to go C too. I think it started off great and I was excited to see Hook, but now he's working with the Hardys on random matches at Double or Nothing, and he was in that Ultimate Deletion match or whatever on the Rampage that the last Rampage I think we covered. With he was in there with Moni McGee. I don't know. I think they can do better with Hook. I think he's got such a good look. He doesn't need to talk. You can use Taz as his mouthpiece and make him a manager or something, and
I like that.
Let him just go on a tear and. He would be a good opponent for Orange Cassidy to go after the International Championship. But I'm surprised they haven't done more with Hook because he's he's an original, B, he's a natural born star, and C, he can go in the ring. And I think they need to do more with him.
It's crazy how little he is too, and he's so strong. He's very,
Yeah.
very strong for being someone who doesn't look that muscular. So he can go. Um, I got one for you. It might be the same that you have. We'll see. How do you grade the first ever main event for Collision?
Oh my gosh. C minus. I don't like this main event at all. I don't like it whatsoever. Um I'm glad that they're continuing the Jay White push, and I'm glad that he's getting an opportunity to shine this time around in AEW. And I wasn't mad that he beat Ricky Starks, because you've got to have him looking strong going up against CM Punk and in that group. But I don't know. This just feels. I mean, it's randomly thrown together. I mean, where's Samoa Joe been to promote this whole thing? Where was he this week on Dynamite? Are we going to see him on Rampage? Will he be out next week at all to say something about, or is he just going to show up? And Punk and FTR. FTR right now is feuding with. I mean, I guess they are feuding with Juice Robinson, but yeah, it just feels like, hey, Ricky Starks, thanks for your service, but we're going to put CM Punk in your place instead. Good luck and God bless, and we'll find something where you can go wrestle for, you can go wrestle on Rampage or something. But yeah, this just I don't like this main event. I think I wanted to see. I think it'll be good. It'll be good to protect Punk, I guess, because he doesn't have to do a lot of work. So I did expect a 6-man tag. I didn't expect him to wrestle at all in the first Collision. I thought maybe he would come out and just cut a promo, and then similar to that episode of Rampage when he came out with that, he didn't wrestle that night. Yeah. That's what I was expecting. But the fact that he's actually wrestling, I think it's a good idea for it to be a 6-man tag. But I don't know. This just feels a little underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. And him wrestling makes sense, and him wrestling in a 6-man makes sense. I thought if he was going to wrestle, he would be teamed up with FTR because that's what they're pushing. But I don't get Samoa Joe, Bullet Club Gold. I mean, this is really out of left field. I think we're going to go 2 for 2. I'm going to give it a C- as well. I don't think it makes zero sense in my eyes. 0 cents. I don't think it helped the ratings. I think this is, and TK said it so happy. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad match. I think it'll be fun. But once again, let's start Collision with some storylines. That's not like
and have some build.
Yeah,
have some build to this. And you have tonight, you have next Wednesday, and you had this past episode of Dynamite where you could have built to this main event. You could have had Samoa Joe come out and because FTR was banned from ringside, but who wasn't? Samoa Joe. Yep. And maybe do something like, hey, this is going to be you in 2 weeks, Mr. Punk, or something like build to it and have a backstage interview with Samoa Joe, or a backstage interview with Jay White talking about CM Punk, and even get FTR their thoughts on Punk. And I mean, we heard I think it's a good match if you're, again, going back to the hardcore wrestling fans. Everybody knows that FTR loves working with CM Punk, but if you're a casual fan, you'd be like, why are they working together when they're feuding with the Guns right now, apparently? So I don't know, but yeah, C-.
C-. All right, let's go number 2 for you.
Let's see. Let me go through my list here. All right, let's do the Outcasts. Just the Outcasts as a group.
Grade them?
Yeah.
You know what? You're about to be shocked. I'm going to go an A. I'm going to go an A. I think they have been. They started off a little weak with just the spray painting, and they once again sent their assistants to listen to our podcast. They have wiped that out and got rid of it. And they are just dominant. I think they are what Damage Control should have been. I think Ruby Soho, Toni Storm, and Saraya, who's probably a future Hall of Famer, have never looked better than they have now. The promo that they just did got me going. It turned me on in a non-sexual way. Yeah. Hey. It turned me on as a wrestling fan, though. Just Toni Storm, for one, she's hot. But she's sitting there with the belt. I like their green. They're matching. Ruby's right next to her, and she's just talking about how there's this 4-way about to happen on Rampage, and it doesn't matter who's going to win because she's going to dominate because she's the best champion ever in AEW. And Ruby Soho was like, ooh, that was, I love when you say that. It's just what they're doing, it works. They feel dominant. I don't feel like whoever wins, even if it's Britt Baker, they're going to get dominated by Toni Storm. Toni Storm feels like a threat. And you know what she didn't feel like the first time she had the championship? Like a threat. So
yeah.
I love what they're doing. The Outcasts are money, and I'm gonna say an A, not an A plus, not an A minus. I'm gonna say A. I think they're just doing 95%. They are doing exactly what they need to do, and I think it's working. I think they're top 3 best factions right now in all of wrestling. I'm gonna go BCC, Judgment Day, and Outcasts right now. Best factions.
Yeah.
Going
No,
there.
I agree. I'm gonna say A as well. So I think what are we?
3
Two for
for
two,
3. 3
three
for
for
3.
three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they started off a little slow,
Yeah.
and then the spray paint stuff, and it just felt a little forced. But they have just gotten better and better. And I think what really got me was that segment with Chris Jericho and Britt Baker and Saraya and Adam Cole. I think that's when I was like, oh, like this is what the Outcast should be, when they were just beating her down with the kendo stick. And Adam Cole was there just to he had to watch it. I mean, it was violent, but there was no blood. They didn't overdo it, and it was just a well done angle. And I think that's when I started really taking the Outcast more seriously than I did before.
Yeah.
And since then, I just feel like they've been clicking on all cylinders. And I also think they legitimately don't care who wins the AEW World Championship, as long as Women's World Championship, as long as it's one of them. I don't think it's like, oh, well, that should be mine, or no, it's mine. Let's feud with each other, and may the best woman win. I think they really don't care. I think they care more about destruction and destroying the company from within and destroying all the originals. And it's a cool story to tell, and I'm digging it. So yeah, kudos. And Saraya, we talked about her wrestling at first when she was a babyface, and she was bad, and she's gotten significantly better, and she's getting more and more comfortable. And I think she's in her element as a heel. When she was a babyface, when she came back, she was not. I mean, talking about Triple H, and I'm glad to have a boss that listens to me, and flubbing on the mic a lot. I just think she was uncomfortable, and now I think she's in her element, and she's doing great things. And Ruby Soho, we're seeing her on TV every week when she wasn't on TV before. And Toni Storm is no longer the interim women's champion; she's now the women's champion, and it's fantastic. I'm digging it. I love it.
It is. And like I've said numerous times, even with like a Dominic Mysterio and so on, it's so much easier to be a heel than it is a babyface. To be a babyface, you truly have to have it. And I agree. I think Saraya is so much better. And Toni Storm, Ruby's always kind of been back and forth, but I think heels are where it's at. All right, last one. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Over now. Let's do this. All right. I want you to grade the Forbidden Door pay-per-view as a whole. Not this one, not I'm talking about just as the idea of Forbidden Door. You're welcome, pay-per-view. I want all these fans to get mad at you in a few. B-Roll's going to get on here at some point and degrade you.
Oh, yeah, he's going to see this.
Forbidden Door pay-per-view as a whole. How do you grade it? You're welcome.
Well, we see it every week on AEW. We just saw it on Rampage.
Yeah, it was all a Forbidden Door. It should have been Rampage Forbidden Door.
Yeah, there you go. They like their themes, and that could have been the episode. But I'm gonna say D. I don't like the idea of Forbidden Door, and it's not that I don't like the idea. I do like the idea. I like the idea of Roman Reigns versus MJF, and I like the idea of Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins. I would love to see that. But the thing is WWE is so set in their ways that they would only agree to do something like this if it's in one of their venues and if it's at one of their events. So it's going to only happen at WrestleMania. They may call it WrestleMania Forbidden Door WrestleMania, or WrestleMania 48 Forbidden Door or something. But then they're going to make their guys go over. They're going to make sure that their guys look the strongest. And that's why when people say like, oh, Roman Reigns, he couldn't last in the ring with MJF. I'm like, oh, if it's a WWE event and WWE wrestlers have to be there, they're going to put it in the contract that WWE has to go over.
Yeah, Roman beats Omega. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. And whether you like it or not, I mean, do I think Kenny Omega is a better wrestler than Roman Reigns? Maybe. But do I think Roman Reigns will beat Kenny Omega? Yes, because that's what WWE would want. Yeah. And that's the only way you're going to get WWE to do one of these events. And that's why I don't like these events, because of that reason. I think it's, who's going to win at Forbidden Door? I mean, is New Japan, I'm sure they have it in their contract that some of their guys have to win. And I'm sure AEW has it in the agreement. Well, some of our guys have to win. We're not giving the AEW World Championship to somebody in New Japan, but we're going to take all your titles, New Japan. I mean, I don't know. It just the idea, it sounds good on paper, but the execution and everything to get a full Forbidden Door with Impact and MLW and CZW and GCW and AEW and WWE, it just I don't think the execution would work, and so I give that good idea on paper, an A+ idea on paper, but a D in execution.
I fully agree. It's a D, and not because of the matches, because the matches are always phenomenal. So don't get us twisted, everybody. But it is 100% a D. It's not a Forbidden Door. These guys are showing up all the flipping time. Okada and all they've wrestled on AEW. They've gone and wrestled each other, and AEW guys go to New Japan and wrestle. It's just like you said, it's good in theory, but it's a dumb gimmick. Maybe they're doing the Who Framed Roger Rabbit method where they have to have the exact same wins. Look at that.
That's actually not
Patrick. Yeah, but that is good. Yeah, the exact. I do like that. For those of you, look it up if you don't know what the Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing is, with the cartoon characters all in the same movies. But it's I'm not a big fan of it. I'm over it. I'm not even looking forward to it. I'm already ready for the next event. This just seems to me like once again, it's a bunch of random people wrestling each other for fluff, and I'm not going to pay $70 to watch.
No, it's all filler.
And yeah, people wrestle. I need story. I'm a story person. I need story. Don't just give me matches. So yeah.
And that's another thing too. Stories. Would WWE have Seth Rollins cutting a promo on Kenny Omega for Forbidden Door, or would it be similar to what the build for his match against Omos, where it's like, oh yeah, I got to wrestle Omos this week, but I'm coming for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, I don't know. It's a D.
Yeah, I agree. All right, everyone. That is it. I want to say congratulations and thank you for joining us on our 50th episode. Those of you watching live, those of you watching later on, this is number 50. We're very proud of ourselves. We're doing great, we think, and we're glad that you guys tune in and listen and watch. So thank you for the support. Also, with that said, I would like to say, Legend Killer Way. What's up, man? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's on 50. We appreciate you. Unit. That's a 50-step reference, aging myself again. But also, next week, we're going to be on Wednesdays and Fridays like always, but we are switching to prime time. I'm working during the day now, not at night. So we are prime time, y'all. Thank you, Patrick. Congrats on 50. Thank you. We are prime time, y'all. So now we can tune in, have more interactive. We're going to start doing watch-alongs and more lives and stuff too now, since we got the night prime time schedule. So with that said, get ready for next week. Watch our TikToks for announcements, but tune in. Subscribe to us, because then you get the alert on when we're going on. We'll figure all that out and announce that on Wednesday. Probably.
Yeah, we'll figure out times and everything.
We'll go there, but it should be great times, good fun. And as always, thank you for subscribing, watching. I'm Mr. MWO, and with me is
Shooting Star PRS on the TikToks, the Instagrams. Hit us up, follow us, subscribe, download, all that fun stuff on Apple, Spotify, all that jazz. And yeah, here we are, 50 episodes in, and we got 50 more coming. So
yes, we do.
Put your seatbelts on, get ready, because it's gonna be a fun ride.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Two Dudes Wolfpack, we out.
All right.